It's Hello Astros. Remember them? Central Division, deep in the heart of guys like Berkman and Oswalt. Oh, wait, they're gone. But Jay Happ's here, and he's been dealing. He gets tonight's start. For the Marlins, it's all about Anibal. He's never lost to Houston. Hey, South Florida got baseball tonight. Astros and Marlins. Tonight, the Marlins are home, not for long, but for 3 games. A weekend series against the Houston Astros. Fish coming off a nice road trip, and the Marlins at an even 500 at 60-60. Anibal Sanchez will open up this series. Sanchez has pitched well for the Fish. He has never lost to the Houston Astros. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Marlins and Astros. The big news today around the ball club, Ronnie Paulino has been suspended 50 games by Major League Baseball in violation of the performance-enhancing drug policy. Paulino says that it was a dietary pill with a banned substance in it. For the Marlins, Tommy, it's a big loss.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate. It's disappointing. As far as Ronnie Paulino, he has not skirted the issue. He's taken responsibility. But it makes for a different situation for the Marlins catching core the rest of the season. So unfortunate for the ball club.
Yeah, Brett Hayes is in the lineup tonight for the Fish. The road trip was a good one. It was a great one for Dan Uggla, who continues to just hit and hit and hit.
Dan Uggla right now riding an 11-game hitting streak. 19 hits during that span, 19 for 41. In the month of August alone, he's hitting .397 with 5 home runs. He has more home runs than any National League player since the All-Star break. Rich and I were talking about this the other day. Dan Uggla has probably been the most consistent that we've seen in his time as a Marlin. He's used to going up and down in slumps and having big strikeout periods, but right now he's been the most consistent Marlin hitter.
It's a very different Astro team than the last time the Marlins saw them. Sometimes you can do addition by subtraction. They were busy at the trading deadline. Lance Berkman and Roy Oswalt were the big pieces. But look what's happened since then. They've actually played better.
Yeah, it is a new look. It's a younger ball club without Oswalt, without Berkman. They had a couple of 8-game losing streaks at the beginning of the season. And if you go back to just June 2nd, and we're going back a little further than the All-Star break, go back to June 2nd, and the Houston Astros have gone 36-33. So a much different looking ball club and a much better ball club than the Marlins saw earlier.
Yeah, they just beat the Mets in 2 of 3. The big piece that came back in those deals, of course, is Jay Happ from the Phillies. Marlins know him from his Philly time. This is a young man that has an outstanding record in his short time in the big leagues.
This is one of those trades that could work out very well for the Astros. They get a younger pitcher, a left-hander, a quality guy. He was a 3rd-round pick of the Philadelphia Phillies, and he's made 4 starts as an Astro. 3 of them have been very good.
Anibal Sanchez tonight. What's been the key for him this year?
Consistency. And how about his record against the Astros? 2-0 with an .096 career ERA.
All right, the table is set. Marlins, Astros, Happ, and Sanchez. An update on the Ronnie Paulino situation as the Fish and the Astros get ready to go.
the day. For the first time for the Marlins, someone on the 25-man Major League roster has been suspended by Major League Baseball for testing positive for a banned substance. Catcher Ronnie Paulino, who's been the Marlins catcher the bulk of the year after the injury to John Baker, has been suspended 50 games after testing positive. That 50-game suspension, 42 this year remaining on the schedule, and the first 8 games of next season. What did Ronnie do wrong? Well, according to a statement today released by Paulino himself, he took a dietary supplement to control his weight. That supplement contained a substance on Major League Baseball's banned list. Ronnie said he was ashamed and saddened for disappointing and distracting his family, teammates, the entire organization, and baseball fans. He issued a heartfelt and sincere apology, accepting full responsibility and all consequences. Therefore, he will not appeal. Ronnie says he was responsible for failing to take precautionary steps in confirming approval of the dietary pill. This was the reaction today from Marlins management upon news of that suspension.
I'm disappointed. We're moving on. We're very supportive of MLB's policy. Always have been and will continue to be. And just disappointed in what happened.
Everyone knows the policy. We spend countless hours, whether it's on the minor league side when players are first signed, all the way through the major leagues. There's not one player, not one, in Spanish, Creole, French, English, any language, Japanese, who does not have the ability to see and understand that taking anything that is not certified under this great policy that the commissioners work so hard to do to give credibility back to our game, it certainly is beyond rational reason.
So the ball club expressing extreme disappointment when asked about Paulino's future. Larry Beinfest and David Sampson saying only that Ronnie will be subject to evaluation after the season, as will everyone on the Marlins roster. For now, Brett Hayes and Brad Davis will carry the catching load for the rest of the season. Tonight, it's the Marlins and the Astros. Anibal Sanchez goes against Jay Happ in Game 1 of this series. Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutton with all the action next on Fox Sports Florida.
Toyota moving forward by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T Rethink Possible. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Glad you're with us tonight. The Marlins and the Astros ready to go. The Fish back home for just 3 after winning 6 of 10 on that long 10-game road trip. The Astros have been playing well lately. They beat the Mets last night. And they took 3 in a row against Pittsburgh the series before. Michael Bourne leads it off. Angel Sanchez at second. Hunter Pence, an outstanding right fielder for the Astros. El Caballo's out in left. Chris Johnson, the kid from Naples, is at third base. A Stetson Hatter. Brett Wallace, a nice prospect at first. Tommy Manzella is at short. Jason Castro is the catcher. And Jay Happ is on the mound.
Rich, they always tell you to have good thoughts, good memories, good thoughts for Anibal Sanchez against the Houston Astros. And why? He's 2-0 with an 0.96 ERA against them. And his first ever start against the Astros, he beat Roger Clemens and threw 7 shutout innings.
Now that is a happy thought.
Think good thoughts.
Sanchez at 9-8. Had an interesting run in his last 4 starts. Of course, he got beat by the Reds his last time out, but he pitched outstanding. 6 innings, just 2 runs. Beat Washington, didn't give up a run against them. Then remember, had that rain-delayed start where he was warmed up and had to spend an hour sitting around. That didn't go so well against the Phillies. But that came right after his brilliant one-hitter in San Francisco. 2-2. And Bourne smacks it on the ground. Ugla gobbles it up, fires on over to first, and we're underway with a 4-3 in the books. TGI Fridays brings you the Marlins defense.
Yeah, one of the good keys, keep Michael Bourne off the bases. There's Emilio Bonifacio with the start tonight in left field. Cody and Stanton. Hector Luna starting at third base. Hanley at short. Ugla and Sanchez on the right side. Brett Hayes. We'll see a lot of action now behind the plate.
Brad Davis has been recalled. There's a first pitch fastball to Angel Sanchez. Marlins did not see Sanchez the first time through because he was acquired from Boston on July 1st in exchange for catcher Kevin Cash. Not to be confused with cash considerations. 0-2. Sanchez settles on a pitch. He goes right after him with a fastball. It's a great sign for Sanchez. 0-2. Didn't nibble, but that good live fastball that has so much movement. He went right after Angel Sanchez.
I think there are a couple of keys, Rich, to this lineup. Try to keep Bourne off the bases.
Do you hear the sound of that one? That's off the end of the bat. That is as far from solid contact as you'll get.
And they're 2 hot hitters, Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee. You don't want them to hurt you. Yeah, this is a good breaking ball, well off the plate, and just barely tapping it with the end of the bat was Angel Sanchez.
Well, here's Pence, and so mission accomplished. Nobody's on base, and Pence is a dangerous guy. 18 homers, 66 driven in. He is a high-energy player, very good defender in right field. Outstanding speed for a big guy.
And chokes up on the bat. You don't see that too often for a guy who's a productive hitter. 18 home runs for Hunter Pence.
Bill Hahn at home plate, already warning the Astros dugout to keep it down a bit. 1-1 coming from Sanchez. High pop. Hayes ventures back, and it's out of play.
Right now, you have to like the way Anibal Sanchez is just going right after the hitters. And this is a lineup that you can do that against. I think Pittsburgh was the same situation.
One, two. That's right into the Marlins dugout. Brad Mills in his first year. The Astros got off to just an awful start under Mills. Last year they were 74 and 88, but as Tommy outlined, since early July, this has been a team that has played over 500.
Heck, since early June.
Fastball up from Sanchez.
Yeah, since June 2nd, they've gone 36 and 33. They had, you talk about a bad start. They started the year with an 8-game losing streak. They won a few games. And at the end of April, early May, they had another 8-game losing streak.
2-2 coming. Stanton, a long run. Mike reaches and makes the catch. Nicely done. 1, 2, 3. Goes Anibal Sanchez through the Astros. Enter Jay Happ.
AFC.
All right, here come the Fish. The Marlins had an even 500, 60 and 60. Hanley's back in the lineup after a night off last night. Emilio Bonifacio gives Logan Morrison a night off. Gabby Sanchez at first, Dan Ugly hits cleanup, Mike Stanton fifth. Cody Ross is in center field. A rare start for Hector Luna against the lefty at third base. Brett Hayes takes over for Ronnie Polino after the suspension, and Sanchez will hit ninth. And here's a good look at Jay Happ, the pride of Northwestern.
You see just 7 starts. 4 of those starts have been as an Astro. Well, he spent a lot of time on the disabled list this year, from early April to early July with a strained forearm. So that's why Happ has only started 7 games this year.
Hanley back in there, and he stands in. He takes a fastball outside from Happ.
But Happ, I think, a big part, obviously, of that trade, sending Roy Oswalt to the Philadelphia Phillies. And it could work out well. Happ just 27 years old.
Happ last year with the Phillies was outstanding, 12-4 and an ERA of under 3 in 23 starts. Beat the Pirates his last time out, went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs.
There's a little bit of the scouting report in that Oswalt trade. Has some tilt on the fastball. He's 6'6".
Hanley tries one to left field. That ball's hit well. It's deep. It's off the top of the wall. Hanley around first, and he's got himself a double. Good to see Hanley Ramirez, after a night off last night. A good approach. He took 2 pitches that were off the plate, got a pitch to hit, and boy did he hit it.
Well, a doctor's in the house. The doctor is the Houston Astros. Hanley Ramirez, lifetime against the Astros. 402, 8 home runs, 23 RBIs. Our checkers double of the game is early, and it's a shot ripped by Hanley Ramirez.
Now Bonifacio's in the 2 spot, and Emilio getting the start in left field. Shortens the bunt and takes a strike. Bonifacio was in the leadoff spot last night in Pittsburgh, walked and scored, and was 0 for 4. Last night he was at shortstop, and tonight he's in left field. Infield's looking for a bunt. Ball in the dirt, and it scoots through Castro, and it goes all the way to the screen.
I don't have to worry about the bunt now. I would imagine the infield might go back. So So the young catcher, Jason Castro, having trouble keeping that ball in front of him. It could be ruled a wild pitch, but it looked like a ball that Castro should have blocked, but a wild pitch.
And you're right about the infield. The middle infield is back. The corners have to respect Bonifacio trying to bunt for a hit. So they're just about even. Ball and a strike. Happ against Bonifacio. And a breaking ball misses in. One of the things Bonifacio and John Maley have really worked on, pitch selection, trying to be more patient at the plate, get deeper into counts. A strike and it's 2-2.
And we talked about John Maley a little bit the other night in Pittsburgh. I think the young hitters who've been around him are used to him, and the more veteran guys, they're just trying to get a feel for what John Maley has to teach. Wes Helms has enjoyed working with him.
2-2, and Bonifacio fouls it back to the screen.
One area that Happ can have trouble with is his control. 27 walks, 27 strikeouts in his 34-plus innings.
Yeah, it's a great indication that a guy has great stuff when the batting average against is 210. But you're right, the walks are a real issue. Hanley's at third, 2-2 coming. That's up, and that's the pitch right there that Maley and Bonifacio have really talked about.
Yeah, we saw Bonifacio have a couple of good at-bats in Pittsburgh. He drew a walk to get a big inning going.
So now the count's 3-2. Ground ball up the middle, scores a run here. To right, Pence going deep into the corner, makes the catch. Hanley tags, and a deep fly ball will do the trick as well. Marlins produce a run and a 1-0 lead.
And that ball was just fair. I was watching the first base umpire. They've made a little shift in the umpiring. Bill Hans at first, Paul Emmel behind the plate. But making the call fair, Pence grabbing that ball while he was in fair territory. So good at bat by Bonifacio. A good start. Let's see, fair or foul? Yeah, he's in fair territory. And a quick lead.
Here's Gabby Sanchez. He gave the Marlins a nice lead last night with a tape measure shot in the 6th inning. Sanchez 3-run homer found the Pirates bullpen, which was slotted behind the Marlins bullpen in deepest, darkest left center. And for Gabby, he walks into this ball game now with 13 homers and 58 driven in. He continues to lead all National League rookies in hits, in doubles, and now in RBIs, as well as extra base hits and total bases. 1-1. It's down low.
Yeah, he's done a good job hitting against left-handers. Hitting .336 against lefties.
Fights that fastball off, and it's 2-2. As Tommy pointed out, the Astros have been hot. There's a look at Ugla, and one of the reasons why their starting pitching has been outstanding. The Marlins will miss two of their hotter starters right now, Bud Norris and Brett Myers, who's been real good.
Now, how about their rotation with a couple of ex-Phillies, Jay Happ and Brett Myers? Yeah, Brad Mills pleased with his starting pitching, no question about that. Marlins will see another lefty, Wandy Rodriguez. He's been throwing well, too. They'll see him tomorrow night.
Gabby yanks a ground ball off the diving Chris Johnson, and it's going to trickle into left field, a base hit for Gabby.
Yeah, as interesting as it is, the Marlins seeing a different look in the Houston Astros. The Astros are seeing a different look in the Marlins.
That's a great point.
Good effort by Chris Johnson. Just off the glove, and then it kind of trickled away from Manzella, the shortstop. And Gabby gets the infield base hit.
And here is Ugla. No one in the National League has hit more home runs since the All-Star break than Ugla. 28. He's driven in 77, riding an 11-game hit streak. And Ugla has shown a lot of patience at the plate, especially during this streak.
There was a time where the Marlins had a few hitters, right-handed hitters, that didn't hit left-handers well, and their record against lefties wasn't what it should be. But that's not the case going into this game.
Yeah, the Marlins and the Padres now, the National League leaders against lefties. Both teams with 23-12 records against lefties. And remember, there were times in Ugla's career that he had scuffled against left-handers. But he's pretty healthy this year, 298 and 8 home runs. He just missed that one on a 2-0 pitch. Mike Stanton to follow. The Marlins are on the board. A Hanley Ramirez leadoff double off the very top of the wall in left center. Emilio Bonifacio hit a deep fly ball to the right to score him after he moved up on a wild pitch. Gabby's at first. Ugla doing some house cleaning on the gloves. And that's out. It seems as if Ugla finds himself, Tommy, in more of these hitters' counts this year. And especially since he's moved into the cleanup spot, he seems so much more calm and patient hitting cleanup.
Yeah, he's just identifying the ball. That's what starts all that.
Let's see what he gets to hit. Pretty good pitch. And it's 3-2. I like the story that Edwin told when he went to Ugla and asked him if he would like to hit cleanup. And Ugla looked at him with a big smile and he said, "Oh, yeah."
And oh, has he been cleaning up.
Let's see if Gabby might be on the move. Happ goes over just to check. Brett Wallace holding Sanchez at first. Not running. And Ugla got jammed and popped it up. Sanchez out there makes the catch. Here comes Stan, and here comes TGI Fridays with the Astros defense.
All right, you ready? We're going to give you some first names because we haven't seen this Houston team for quite some time. You start in the outfield, you have Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, Hunter Pence. No strangers there. Here's where it gets tough. Chris Johnson, Tommy Manzella, Angel Sanchez, Brett Wallace, and Jason Castro behind the plate. All right, did you take notes?
Here's Stanton. Mike had two very different parts to his road trip. The one where he was knocking everything all over the place and out of the ballpark. And the last half dozen games where all of a sudden he had scuffled a bit. Last night 1 for 4 with a single. And a fastball right down the middle.
See, and a lot of that. I mean, it's almost like overthinking at times. Instead of see ball, have good rip at ball. And that's what we saw when Mike first came up.
Had a good rip at that one, but broke his bat. It's 1-2. It's all part of the learning curve. He's 20 years old. He went through 2 weeks of struggles and then caught fire and now has hit a little bit of a dip.
I think pitchers are trying to crowd him in. We've seen a little bit more of that.
Let's see what he gets. 1-2. They came in again and he nearly took Joe Espada's shoes off.
And he was not fooled on that pitch either. The slow breaking ball just got out in front of it a little bit too quick.
See, if I were Joe, I would be down sitting behind the tarp.
Maybe down where the ball boy is, behind the tarp. He's looking there.
Another 1-2. Oh, man. Fastball.
Another good fastball.
Right down the middle. And so the Marlins inning ends. They do get a run, though, and lead at 1-0. Marlins and Astros. Fireworks spectacular, then a post-game concert featuring Tito El Bambino with Zion and Lennox. And you get a Marlins clapper courtesy of Waste Management. 1-877-MARLINS.
You'd be surprised, but I just downloaded El Amor the other day off the Tito El Bambino CD. I'm not sure if it's the greatest hits. Not sure which one it was, but El Amor is just wonderful.
I think it's the iTunes Essentials that where you found it. Here's the 2-0 pitch. El Caballo goes after it with a vengeance.
So we've gone from El Amor to El Caballo.
Just like that. Carlos Lee, 34, and of course an enormous run producer in his career. He drives that one to center field. Cody Ross is out there. Ross makes the catch.
Everything kind of went hand in hand. We talked about the horrible start to the Astros season. They lost the 8 in a row. Carlos Lee had a month of April he'd like to forget. He hit 183. No home runs, only 5 RBIs. But he has picked things up.
Here's our first look at Chris Johnson, a Stetson Hatter and a Naples native, 4th-round pick by Houston. His father, Ron, the first base coach for the Boston Red Sox. A little late on that fastball.
Yeah, that fastball, that tells you a little something, and you have to be careful. If you can throw a fastball like that by a hitter, you want to come back with it, you want to crowd him with stuff. Make him make the adjustment. But he's made some tremendous adjustments because Chris Johnson has been on a tear. 379 since the All-Star break.
He's just 25. And he's still hitting. Lines it into left center field.
And look what he hit, the breaking ball.
Cody picks it up, bobbles. Johnson didn't hesitate, and the throw is not in time. We'll see if it's a double or a single and an error. It is a double.
Well, just heads up by Johnson. He never hesitated. He got that ball into the left center field gap. This break's a little old for 13, but look at the pitch. Breaking ball out over the plate. He's able to get around on it when he didn't show he could get around on the fastball. But a hustle double by Johnson.
Now Brett Wallace, he takes a breaking ball. Wallace, a guy that was a first-round pick, 13th overall in 2008 by the St. Louis Cardinals. Was a star at Arizona State. Twice he won the Triple Crown in the Pac-10 Conference.
Pretty good conference, too, to win the Triple Crown in.
From St. Louis, he was traded to Oakland in the Matt Holliday deal. And then ended up in Houston in a three-way trade. Sanchez with a good changeup. Wallace out of Napa, California. Sanchez has him 1-2.
If you're out of Napa, are you just by osmosis a wine connoisseur?
I have a brother and a sister that live in the Napa area.
And?
No. I mean, here's a good example. You think Johnny Gomes is a wine connoisseur?
He doesn't look like it.
No. He's from that area.
He looks like a beer guy.
That's right. Johnny Gomes is a six-pack guy, and he's from that area.
He's from Petaluma.
Yeah, he's from the wine country.
That's right.
Wallace strikes out. Good pitch by Sanchez. And now he gets Tommy Manzella. Manzella, the 27-year-old, who played his college ball at Tulane.
Just off the disabled list. Had a broken finger. And just activated yesterday.
He's a guy that had a very good year last year in AAA. He was the MVP of their AAA team, hitting .289 and a very good defensive shortstop. Sanchez falls behind him 2-0. Sanchi did face the Astros in that trip to Houston. In fact, he won the only game the Marlins won of that three-game set. 6 2/3, 9 hits, and a run. Ground ball into left, charging Bonifacio. Runner comes home. Bonifacio's thrown.
Oh, not a chance.
He's out by 15 feet. Bonifacio throws out his second runner at the plate in the last week and a half. He was at shortstop last night. Tonight he's in left field. And he guns out Chris Johnson.
Wow.
How nice is that? that play even more incredible is the field conditions. The Dolphins, of course, played a game while the Marlins were away in a downpour that really chewed the field up. The grounds crew has performed a minor miracle in getting this field ready.
Yeah, they seem to do that all the time. The other thing that helps Bonifacio, because of his infield ability, he's able to charge a ball like that in the outfield.
Here is Cody Ross.
I'll tell you what happens, though. Most of the time, a lot of the times, you see a guy charge a ball that hard, it's hard to keep under control and make an accurate throw. Usually you'll see the outfielder make a strong throw and airmail the catcher. And he threw one right on the money.
Ross, Luna, and Hayes against Jay Happ. And it keeps the Marlins on top 1-0. Cody Ross is the subject of a little bit of intrigue right now. Ken Rosenthal on FoxSports.com reporting this afternoon about 4 o'clock that Ross had been put on waivers. That's not a surprise. A lot of players are. But apparently had been claimed by the San Francisco Giants. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's outside. Now, the Giants don't have an immediate need in center field. They've got Aaron Rowan and Andres
Torres, who had a great series against the Marlins.
But the San Diego Padres do because of Tony Gwynn's broken hand. And the Giants, in claiming Ross, many are speculating, is to block the Padres from acquiring him. Wow, that's a pitch that looked like it missed low and inside.
That 3-1 pitch, I'm going to guess inside off the plate on Fox Tracks. Yep.
Pitch number 5.
And it was.
So Cody collects himself, and the count's 3-2. Tied Papa. The obvious question is what happens next in this process.
And you've done your research.
48 hours, working days, so probably sometime Monday. If the Giants really want him, the Giants can work out a deal with the Marlins and say, all right, well, we'll give you player X and Y for Cody. You can make a trade that way. Or the Marlins can pull him back and say, no, you can't have him. Or the Marlins can say, he's yours. Take him. Hunter Pence doesn't see the ball. And a running catch by Angel Sanchez out in right field. And I mean out in right field.
We always get to this point of the game, 7:45, 8 o'clock, usually about 7:45 to 8:15. With the twilight, it's tough for outfielders to pick up fly balls. Pence didn't see it. And fortunately for Hunter Pence, his second baseman showed a lot of range in tracking that one down.
So Hector Luna is coming up. So the fact that Cody was placed on waivers is not all that unusual. A lot of teams put a lot of guys out on waivers just to see if, number one, you can sneak a guy through, or number two, if any other team is interested. What makes it intriguing is the fact that it's the Giants that claimed him, and many people feel they're trying to keep him away from the Padres.
Well, there's no question the Padres in need of a center fielder.
Luna drives one into center field, a base hit for Hector Luna. That has to feel good.
Hector Luna has had Major League time. We've talked about it, but that's his first hit as a Marlin. He hasn't had many opportunities, making just his second start at third base. So Hector Luna, a little bit off the end of the bat, and he dropped it in front of a speedy center fielder. Michael Bourne can chase him down. So good job by Hector Luna.
And here is Brett Hayes. And if you've just joined us, you haven't heard the news, Ronnie Paulino suspended for 50 games for violating Major League Baseball's drug policy for a performance-enhancing substance. Paulino issuing an apology saying that, in his words, it was a diet pill to help him lose weight, and he did not check it closely enough for what apparently was a banned substance. Whatever it was, whatever he took, it's costly because he will not be paid over those 50 days.
And that's a lot of money.
And the 50 games will be served to finish off this season, and then I believe it's 8 games to start next year.
certainly a lesson learned by Ronnie and others around baseball. If you're not listening and watching and learning a lesson from that, if you're not sure, if you're taking something, run it by the medical staff, the trainers. Say, is everything okay in this thing? Then you'll be okay.
Brad Davis has been called up, and so it's Hayes and Davis behind the plate for the Marlins right now. Luna's at first. And Hayes hits a pop-up, and it's going to end up in the seats. It's the first Marlin on a 25-man roster that has been suspended for 50 games. One and two to Hayes, who when he was playing at AAA regularly was having almost a career year in the minor leagues this year. He's been playing well this year. In his spot starts backing up Paulino, has performed pretty well.
He had that great game just in A-ball, too, before he came back for the second time with the injury to the hand. What do you have, 7 RBIs?
He had a 3-run homer and a grand slam on his last rehab game.
The Hammerheads miss him.
Runner goes, swing and a foul tip into the glove. Luna is thrown out. That's a strike him out, throw him out double play, and a costly one with the pitcher on deck. The Marlins are done here in the second. We go to the third. 1-0. In the Marlins' new ballpark, now accepting deposits. 2012 season tickets in the new Marlins ballpark. 1-877-411-2012. 1-877-411-2012. You got to get down and schedule your appointment. The new sales headquarters right next door. It has all the virtual drawings. You'll get a chance to look in and see the ballpark itself. Sit in an actual suite from the new ballpark. It's all waiting for you downtown Miami. 1-0 game here. And Anibal Sanchez gets Jason Castro, Jay Happ, and Michael Bourne.
Jason Castro with that strong throw in his time in the big leagues is thrown out almost 40%.
A lot of Marlins in the area, and it's Hanley who comes away with the baseball.
40%, pretty good.
And here comes Happ. Little Fox Expo look.
A little, not a clean catch, but they count. Anytime you have this twilight, too, it's imperative for the outfielders to run out and assist the outfielders, help the infielders, and the infielders to run out and help out the outfielders. Because somebody's going to see it, and you've got to help out the guy who might not.
And when in doubt, as we saw with Hunter Pence, you simply throw your arms up and say, I got no idea.
He had no time to decoy at that point.
1-1 to Happ.
I like the guys who decoy, like they're camped under it, ready to make the catch, and they're 50 feet from it.
Sanchez flips it to Gabby.
The only problem, that decoys your teammates, though, sometimes.
Top of the order, Michael Bourne is coming up. It's a 3-game series for the Fish. An opportunity to push their record over 500. They come in at 60 and 60s. The Astros' second time through against Sanchez. Bourne steps in. He bounced to Ugla his first time up. Chris Volstad against Wandy Rodriguez. Another lefty going for Houston tomorrow night. And then Ricky Nolasco against the versatile Nelson Figueroa on Sunday. Off day Monday, then it's off to New York. Take on the Mets. Josh Johnson slated to go game 1 on Tuesday night.
Yeah, the Mets in Pittsburgh right now.
Did you leave a note for Keith Hernandez in your hotel room?
You know, I forgot. I should have. Have a nice day, Keith. See you next week.
Two and two. Bourne last year had a very good year, 285 average. His on-base percentage was up over 350. Twice now, he's pulled one to Ugla. Sanchez goes 1, 2, 3 through the third. Offers by Checkers, little plays, big taste by Corona. Kick back and relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Enjoy Corona today. And by TGI Fridays, celebrate summer with the new Caribbean menu only at TGI Fridays. Baseball tonight here in South Florida. The Marlins and the Astros 1-0 right now.
Trying to put the hex on Jay Happ. You know, it was a tough way for that last inning to end. The strikeout, throw-out double play. Good throw by Jason Castro, the young catcher, because Anibal Sanchez leads off this inning. But you know what? We've seen Edwin do that, and I like it. It puts a little pressure on the hitter if he knows the runner's going, and he'll even do it with a hitter who's susceptible to striking out. But if I'm a hitter and I know that runner's going, maybe shorten up a little bit. I'm going to make sure I make contact to try to protect the runner. That time it didn't work, but I like to see that.
3 strikeouts now for Happ, and here's Hanley. His double in the first broke a 1 for 15 skid. And he came close to his 17th homer this season. He bounced it off the top of the wall and left. Ball and a strike to Hanley. Bonifacio's on deck. And Hanley pulls that one foul.
Yeah, we told you earlier he's had such a tremendous career, albeit 27 games, but great numbers against the Astros. Hanley hitting over 400, 8 home runs.
It seems like he has those numbers against every team in the Central Division.
He did against Cincinnati.
He did against Pittsburgh.
He did against Pittsburgh. He just didn't hit well in Pittsburgh.
I think he has good numbers against Milwaukee. One-two coming. Hanley drives that ball to center, hits it on the button. And Michael Bourne makes the catch. The ball that Hanley hit back in the first was a rocket shot. Here's a look at it. And it came close, Tommy, to hitting that target. See, if he hits that ball 10 feet to the right and it hits the South Florida Ford target there, the big black dot on the South Florida.
Does that mean we get Fords?
No. It means that the fan that rides around before the game wins a brand new Ford truck. So we almost gave away a brand new Ford truck.
Well, he's hit 2 balls well. He hit that last line drive hard, too.
Bonifacio delivered the run with a sacrifice fly. And he drives that one to right center field. Hunter Pence in pursuit is there and makes the catch. 1, 2, 3 go to Fish. We're sailing into the 4th. Marlins a 1-0 lead. Right to Angel Sanchez. He needs
Chewy needs an Oprah makeover.
He needs a Wookiee makeover. You're right.
Yeah.
He needs some a little sprucing up there. Like maybe put him in the back of a pickup, run him through the car wash.
Maybe a tint. Maybe a little tint there.
Are those plugs? Here's the 0-2. That's outside. Sanchez has been sharp. Anibal, not necessarily Angel. Though Angel did hit a soft line drive back in the first.
And we have Gabby in the game.
And, of course, Brian in the bullpen. Luna to his left. Hector has it. Fires across in time. And Angel Sanchez, 26-year-old Puerto Rican, is thrown out. Up comes Hunter Pence now. Hunter Pence has been an all-star. And a guy that is known as a very good defensive outfielder. Smacks it to Ugla's left. And Daniels had a busy night so far. Good sign from Anibal Sanchez, getting a lot of ground ball outs.
Yeah, a lot of quick outs. He likes that. That'll keep him in the game a little bit longer.
It's a night where the Marlins might be without Leo Nunez, who's worked back-to-back nights.
Yeah, we had the interesting nights of Leo Nunez the last two nights. We had the night of the changeup 2 nights ago, and then the night of the fastball last night.
We'll have to ask Cookie and Raul how you say that. El Noche del Cambio?
Del Cambio. El Noche de Rapido.
Ground ball. Tercera base.
Another nice inning.
Primera base. 1-0. Marlins.
For the Astros.
All right, before Gabby Sanchez digs in, let's send it down to Frank Fort. Hi, Frank.
How you doing, Rich and Tommy? Second night in a row and the second of 3 nights that the Marlins will face a lefty. And with the win last night against Paul Mahalam, the Marlins improved to 23-12 against lefties. On the year, hitting .271 against left-handed pitchers. That's second to the Cubs in the National League. Break it down even further. Against lefties' fastballs, they're hitting .293. Against changeups, .290. Against the hook, not quite so good, .171. And when they're ahead in the count, the Marlins are hitting .423 off left-handers' fastballs. That is part of the reason they've had success against lefties this year, Rich.
Hunter Pence over there to make the catch. Yeah, interesting stuff. JM Lexus brings you our leaders of the game. As Frank was documenting, the Marlins at 271, Cubs at 280. JM Lexus price made us number 1 18 years running. Click jmlexus.com to find out how.
Oh, you didn't want to be a Cubs fan this afternoon. Cubs had a 3-2 lead in the 9th inning against the Braves. In came Carlos Marmol. After 3 walks and 2 strikeouts, he gave up a bases-clearing triple to the Braves, Rick Ankiel, and the Braves won that game 5-2. Another last-inning win for Atlanta.
Dan Uggla stands in. Now, the important question there is, were you in your car and were you able to listen to the Cubs radio crew call that?
No, by the time the Braves got those 3 runs, we were out of the car.
Here's the 2
It would have been a treat to have heard Ronnie Santo.
That's awful. Ron is a tortured soul when something like that happens to the Cubs.
Is. 5 straight losses for the Cubs.
2-1 to Uggla. Figured he got a strike down there. Happ went right back to it. Uggla popped out back in the first. Mike Stanton struck out in that first inning. Marlins got their run, a Hanley double, a wild pitch, and a Bonifacio sacrifice fly. Jay Happ and Uggla pops it up again. Same guy. Sanchez, a quick right turn, makes the catch, and there are 2 outs. Jay Happ, when you look at his career numbers, he's 27. He was a college pitcher at Northwestern. His career number is 16-6 and a 3.24 ERA. This is his 36th career start.
Well, last year with the Phillies, he was in 35 games, 23 starts. He was 12-4.
Stanton took 2 fastballs right down the middle in his first at bat. And a changeup is low. It's a ball and a strike.
Yeah, Happ had an ERA last year of 2.93, so extremely valuable to that Philly staff.
For a young hitter like Stanton at 20, how do you keep from thinking too much at the plate?
It's harder to do nowadays, I think, with all the video. I think years ago you didn't have as much to think about, so you had to go more on just what you kind of filed away in your head, more on reactions. And I think now it's a little different. I mean, it can be good. It can be a hindrance, I think, sometimes.
Breaking ball, he pops that one up. Happ gives way to Chris Johnson, who makes the catch. And Jay Happ has found a nice groove here. He is retired 7 in a row. This copyright telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Accounts, descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Frank Fort, Allison Williams, Jeff Conine, Anibal Sanchez, and Chris Johnson.
We have a full lineup tonight.
Johnson doubled back in the second on a breaking ball.
All right, now you can come back with that fastball in. He hadn't gotten to a fastball yet.
0-2.
There it is.
Missed up. And it's a ball and 2 strikes.
And remember, his base hit into left center was on a breaking ball.
Got him with the fastball. So Sanchez opens the 5th with a strikeout. It's been an interesting contrast for these two pitchers. You've got Sanchez, who has 6 ground ball outs, and you've got Jay Happ, who doesn't have a ground ball out. Lots of pop-ups and fly balls.
There haven't been a whole lot of real good swings where hitters have squared up balls. Hanley's had a couple of good swings. So both pitchers are keeping the hitters off balance.
Here's Wallace. It does feel strange to see the Astros and not see Lance Berkman and not see Roy Oswalt.
But I did see Jeff Bagwell, who's with the club now. He's working with the hitters.
He's out of eligibility, though.
Yeah.
Long since retired. But this is there's a look at Bagwell.
There's Bags.
This is a team that started the year with a payroll of $93 million. And they are 53-67.
I think they also, in talking to Brad Mills, their manager, they feel good about the young players that they received in the trades that they made. Players they received from the Yankees, players they received from Philadelphia.
Struck him out. Sanchez a pair of strikeouts to open up the 5th, and we check in with Allison. Hey, Allison.
Hey, guys. This is the first game back for Tommy Manziel after fracturing his finger on June 22nd. It took a little bit longer than he had hoped to get back, but he said the good thing about that is it allowed him to get about 40 ABs in during his rehab start, and he used that time to kind of rework his swing a little bit. One thing Jeff Bagwell had him do before he went into his rehab stint was to move his hands back a little bit. Also, if you'll notice in his stance, he's picking up and then placing down that front foot, and that's keeping him from kind of lunging off his back foot, which he was doing before. He said it was just too jumpy, too aggressive, but he felt like the last 4 or 5 games in AAA, he really felt like his swing was starting to take shape right where he wanted it. Everything was clicking pretty well. He was hitting .212 before he went on the DL for the Astros, so we'll see how it translates with these adjustments he's made. Guys.
Allison, you need to have your own hitting school.
We're going to send the
I wouldn't go that far.
We're
I'm
gonna
just
send
relaying what he's told
We're
me.
going to send you the telestrator.
All right.
Here's the 1-2. Well, if anybody is good at talking about weight shift, it's Bagwell. Remember how well balanced he was? He was one of the first real sluggers not to take a big stride.
He had that stance that looked like he was sitting in a chair, and then he'd just lift up real wide, and they'd just lift up the front foot a little bit, not stride, and then take that aggressive swing.
Ground ball first. Anibal Sanchez has retired 9 straight in a 1-0 game. Jay Happ's retired 7 straight. Anibal Sanchez has retired 9 straight. And here is Cody Ross with Hector Luna and Brett Hayes to follow. Tommy, how does the whole story today that Ross was out on waivers and claimed by the Giants affect Cody? That's a drive to left center field. Bourne is out there and makes the catch. How does that affect a player like Cody Ross?
I think it affects him. I think he's a professional enough that he'll try to put everything aside to play his normal game. But there's no way it can't be in your mind and thinking about it. So, yeah, I think it affects a player. Anytime you hear your name out there involved in a trade, if you're going here, you think this team wants you, you think about it.
Hector Luna had a base hit back in the second. And again, it's not like Cody feels that the Marlins don't want him by placing him out on waivers. The Marlins have probably placed a lot of their guys out on waivers that either have been claimed and no one heard about, or
and most teams do,
or haven't been claimed. Some teams put their whole rosters out just to see who's interested. But the intrigue, of course, with Cody is that it's the Giants that claimed him, and you're able to, as the standings set on the day the player is out on waivers, in a reverse order in the standings, those are the teams that get first shot at him. And since the Giants had a record not as good as the Padres, they got a chance to claim him first. And that's, many people speculated what the Giants were doing is trying to block him from the Padres putting a claim, and the Padres then in turn working out a deal with the Marlins to get Cody to San Diego. It can be a high-stakes game of poker. Hector Luna strikes out. Up comes Brett Hayes.
And in the meantime, you have to go out there and continue to play. You know, speaking of which, I was checking on Jorge Cantu today. It's been a tough go for Jorge. He's 10 for 40 with the Texas Rangers. No home runs, no RBIs. And he has played mostly in the lineup against left-handers when the Rangers face a left-hander.
A strike to Hayes. Brett struck out into a double play when Luna was caught stealing to finish off the second. Hayes takes out strike outside. A lot of injury news around baseball, especially in the American League. Dustin Pedroia back on the disabled list with foot soreness. Nick Punto on the DL with a hamstring for the Twins. Derek Lee apparently okay.
Well, he was in the lineup today.
Yeah.
For the Atlanta Braves at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
How odd did that feel for D. Lee?
That's the big Fox game tomorrow, by the way, the Braves and the Cubs. Well, Jay Happ is untouchable right now. That's 10 straight.
español vía Zap y es presentado por KFC.
Good to see the flying luchadores are here tonight.
Hey guys, look who I have here with me.
Oh!
Hi guys.
Hall of Famer Tony Perez.
How you doing?
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
God, good.
Tony, we saw lots of pictures of you when we were in Cincinnati, all over the Reds Hall of Fame and all over the ballpark in Cincinnati.
Yes.
I would like to tell you what Marty said, but I can't.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys see a lot of pictures, but you didn't see me because I was in Panama.
That's what we heard. You were. Tell us what you were doing. You're down there with was Davey Concepcion with you?
Yeah, Davey was there. I was Juan Marichal and Cepeda, and we got a few guys over there, Hall of Famers.
All the way down in Panama. That's of course the hometown of, or the home country, I should say, of Carlos Lee.
Carlos Lee, el caballo.
El caballo.
Sí.
Jason Castro con un doble hacia el right field, hombre en segunda ahora.
This is a pitcher's duel right now, guys. Both pitchers have settled into this ball game.
Yeah, they're doing great. I got my bat on the seat over here. I don't want to show it. They throwing too good right now.
All right, guys, have a good show tonight.
Thank you, guys. You
Take
too.
care of them.
Y ha comenzado.
Jay Happ in the rain is trying to bunt, and he does. Gabby got it. Throw to third in time.
Oh, boy, that's a great play. Not only on Gabby's part, but for Hector Luna, who was thinking bunt and coming in, for Luna to get back to the bag and receive the throw and make the tag. Not a force out at third because there wasn't a runner at first base. Great play on both parts. Here comes Gabby. Luna has to go back. He kind of backpedals to get to the bag and is there for the tag. Nicely done on both ends. He's catching that ball as he's moving backwards. That's not easy to do.
Well, the rain is really coming down now, and I'm sure both managers are hoping it's just a passing shower, but the umpires say bring out the tarps. Look at that. Over the wall, there they go. They're the best in baseball. The Marlins grounds crew getting the tarp out and on the field as the rain has hit here with both pitchers really rolling. Anibal Sanchez, before that double by Castro, had retired 9 in a row, and Jay Happ has retired right now 10 in a row. So if you're either Brad Mills or Edwin Rodriguez, you don't want this thing to be delayed long enough that you got to shut your starter down.
Well, it does a couple of things. It could do that, and it also, you have momentum going. The Marlins have momentum because Sanchez is throwing well. A little bit of that momentum was stopped on that terrific play after the double of Castro. That's a great play. Now all of a sudden, instead of a man at third, there's a man at first with one out. So a very meaningful play right there by Gabby Sanchez and Hector Luna.
So we are in a rain delay here in South Florida as the grounds crew has the tarp over. We're going to head to our rain delay programming. Billy's Bunch is coming up, but stick around. We'll have an update for you shortly. 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think it would affect both pitchers, and we've seen the effects on Anibal Sanchez a few times. He's had to deal with some rain delays, but it's going to end up being about 30, 35 minutes.
Okay, let's take a look back and see what's happened. Not a lot offensively has happened in our Land Rover game summary.
Yeah, easy to tell you about the offense because it started with Hanley Ramirez hitting over 400 against the Astros in his career. Got things started with a double, a wild pitch, put him to third, sac fly by Bonifacio, brought him to the plate. How about the defense? Emilio Bonifacio with a bullet to the plate to get Chris Johnson trying to score. Just a great defensive play. And then it's been turned over to the pitchers. At one point, Sanchez retired 9 straight. Jay Happ, he's retired 10 in a row. So the left-hander of the Astros has been dealing. Anibal Sanchez has been dealing. And we've all been dealing with a little rain. So hopefully the 30 or 35 minutes won't be too much of a distraction for Anibal Sanchez as he gets ready to warm up.
I got to tell you, watching that ground screw come out, get the tarp out, get it back off.
What'd you think about it?
We are reminded of, every time we go on the road and see another ground screw wrestle with the tarp in a different place. Where was it? Washington?
I think it was Washington, yeah.
They had a devil of a time just getting the tarp out and then getting it back up on the tube. But the field is ready to go, and the good news is, for Anibal Sanchez, this probably feels like his team was up for about a half an hour, and he was in the dugout. The Marlins were aware that they were going to pull the tarp about 10-15 minutes ago, so Sanchez was able to stretch a little bit and loosen up at his pace.
And Rich, you brought up a good point. After the double by Jason Castro, the attempted sacrifice from the pitcher Jay Happ and a great play by Gabby Sanchez over to Hector Luna at third. The runner at first is Jay Happ, so he doesn't have the luxury of going down to the bullpen and warming up. I'm sure he'll get all the time in the world to do that if, in fact, he's going to come back.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting decision for Brad Mills.
Remember, he had to spend some time on the disabled this couple of months. Happ did with a forearm strain.
And you've got Sanchez, who has a history of shoulder issues that he's been able to get over. So the Astros will have a runner at first base, and we'll see who it is, because if Happ's not going to continue in this game, I would suspect that he might not be the runner at first base, but we'll see.
But on the other hand, you hate to waste a player at this point just to send him out as a runner.
Oh, there he is.
It's going to be Jay Happ. We talked about that play, Gabby Sanchez. Here's Happ attempting to bunt the runner over to third. Gabby charges. Luna backpedals to third and gets a perfect throw in the tag on the runner, Jason Castro. And all of a sudden, instead of a runner at third and one out, there's a runner at first and one out. That's a big play.
That's a play that the Marlins have seen made against them this year. That's not a play that the Marlins have been able to make for themselves. I was talking to one of the scouts during the rain delay, and he said, I was talking about Gabby Sanchez. He said, that is the most improved player in baseball from day one to right now. He said, that's a play that Gabby does not make in early April.
Remember, early in the year, he was being replaced, defensive replacement. Jorge Cantu would go over and play first base. Wes Helms would come in and play third. We haven't seen that because Gabby's played such solid defense at first.
So Sanchez is taking as long as he needs to warm up, and we suspect Happ will be extended the same courtesy. So we could have another 5-6 minute delay between the top of this inning and the bottom of the next inning, depending on what happens here, because Happ is out at first base, and he did not go down to the bullpen and warm up.
Well, and I think it's really important, and we'll be able to tell right away to see how Anibal comes back, and he's been so consistent. He had a stretch of 9 straight until that double by Castro. Let's see how he comes back, and if he keeps himself throwing strikes. He hasn't walked anybody tonight. Good start.
Strike. 37-minute delay. Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire, calling a strike. Bill Hahn, Gary Darling, Bruce Dreckman, our crew tonight. And Sanchez misses away. These are probably pretty anxious moments for both managers, just to see how their starters react to this. Sanchez, of course, in that start against the Phillies, had to sit out for a whole hour after warming up. That one just spins past the bag, foul.
Here's the other little interesting part of this whole scenario. The leadoff hitter for the Marlins in the bottom of the 6th inning is Anibal Sanchez.
So you can't get away from the pitchers here. I mean, you got one pitcher on base as the other tries to warm up, and you got the other pitcher going to lead off the next inning.
On the other hand, he's thrown just 70 pitches.
And he buries a great breaking ball there.
Throwing great pitches here after the 37-minute delay.
4 strikeouts now for Sanchez. Excuse me, 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's a good pitch to get Bourne to swing and miss.
Angel Sanchez lines one foul.
Let's go back to 4.
All right.
I think it was 4.
Thanks for correcting me the first time. I said 4. My partner held up 5. I went with my partner.
Hey, that's what you get for going with me.
0 for 2 is Sanchez.
Maybe I feel 5.
Hey, I'm not going to argue with you.
0-2 right now.
Anibal trying to nail down his 10th win. The Marlins trying to get their 3rd starter in double figures with wins. Trying to join Josh Johnson and Ricky Nolasco. Ground ball. Ugla is there. Little flip to Hanley. And that is a nice finish to a long delayed inning. 37-minute rain delay, no problem for Anibal Sanchez. Monday, Chris Volstad will take on Wandy Rodriguez, another lefty going for the Astros, and Volstad looking for a home win tomorrow night on a Baker Concrete Super Saturday, just as we look forward to the Marlins games. You can live forward with Just for Men hair color.
You're right. We're here all weekend. Tip the broadcasters. Try the veal.
All right, as we expected, this may take a little bit of time. Happ is taking his sweet time warming up. You see his line. Very impressive stuff from Jay Happ. And he has retired 10 in a row. And as Tommy pointed out, Anibal Sanchez is a guy that ends up having to lead off here at the bottom of the 6th.
And certainly we saw no ill effects in Sanchez, and we'll check in on Jay Happ. His little luxury is that he gets to go after the pitcher first batter he faces.
Hanley Ramirez, Emilio Bonifacio to follow. Quickly, it's 0-2. Moneyball struck out in the 3rd. Tommy, how many strikeouts does Happ have?
See, Happ has 5. I knew there was 5 somewhere. Neither pitcher has issued a walk. And I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one.
Yeah, you are. And both have very manageable pitch counts. Happ at 76 and Sanchez at 74. Makes a pitching coach happy. That one is inside. It's 2-2. Andrew Miller has been cited despite his disguise in the bullpen with the new look mustache. That is strike 3 call. So down goes Sanchez. Now, Tommy, we didn't really get a chance to talk about this last night, but the Marlins brought up Andrew Miller and sent Taylor Tankersley back down. Miller's numbers have not been good this year wherever he's pitched in the minor leagues.
Yeah, and trust me, he's just down there throwing to get some work in, because with the numbers that he produced in the minor leagues, lots of walks, a lot of hits, more hits than innings pitched, he's not going to be used in a 1-0 game. So just the fact that I think you keep him ready early if you need a long man in a ball game to bring somebody in 2nd or 3rd inning. And I think once it's gotten to this point, he's just down there to get his throwing.
And then Ramirez fouls that pitch back. And there were questions as to why bring Miller up in place of Tankersley, and the organization's reasoning was they wanted someone with better stuff, and they felt that right now Miller had better stuff than Tankersley. Whether he can control that stuff and be of help in the bullpen, I think is to be seen.
Here's one of the toughest things all year. The Marlins have not had a left-hander other than recently Will Ullman to get hitters out, but Rainiel Pinto, Dan Meyer, Taylor Tankersley, they've all struggled.
Hanley takes inside. Hanley's had some good at-bats tonight. He doubled off the wall in the 1st. He lined out to center field in the 3rd.
By the way, Rich, you were asking this question, and rain delays do not bother our crack staff. A .342 average coming into this game against the National League Central for Hanley Ramirez.
Hanley swings, misses, and lost his bat. The count's now 2-2.
Interesting. That was a high changeup. You know, you'll see a hitter chase a high fastball like that. That was an 80-mile-an-hour changeup from Happ. James Anthony Happ.
Right, but don't call him J.A. Happ. He just wants to be known as J. Happ. And he did not learn that from his former teammate, shortstop Jimmy Rollins. Three-2 coming to Hanley. And Hanley is aboard, and that snaps the streak of 11 in a row set down by Happ. And one thing it does, Tommy, is it forces Happ for the first time in over an hour to work for the stretch.
Yeah, and it's also the first walk issued by either pitcher. So we'll see how things go from this point on. Happ has an okay move to first, nothing out of the ordinary.
Chris Johnson, the third baseman for the Astros, has to shorten up. Even though there's one out, Bonifacio threat to bunt for a hit. He squares, and that probably is what Happ was hoping to see when he went over to first, to see if Bonifacio tipped his hand or not. And he did. Long wait by Happ, too long for Bonifacio.
No, there are hitters that'll do that intentionally, even if they're not bunting. they'll shorten up square a little bit, knowing the pitcher's going to throw over to first, just to try to decoy the pitcher and thinking that they're bunting.
Not bunting, and he takes inside.
Yeah, I think I'd rather see Bonifacio swing the bat here. Because if he bunts him over and is successful and they get the out, they're 2 out.
Want to know. Bonifacio lines it foul. Bonifacio sacrifice fly produced the only run of the game. That was a ball that he hit deep down the right field line. Hanley hit doubled and moved up on a wild pitch. And then Bonifacio lined out into right center. So he's had some good swings against Happ tonight. Hanley's running, and a chopper in the hole and short. This could be a tough play. Hanley's going to third. He's going to get there with a head-first slide.
Yeah, that's that energy that Edwin Rodriguez has been looking for. With Hanley on the move, there was no play at all to get Bonifacio at first base. And that's why you wanted to see him swing. You never know what's going to happen. Once this ball got by the third baseman, Chris Johnson, the shortstop, the young shortstop, Tommy Manzella, Hanley's watching all the way. As soon as he sees Manzella uncork the throw, he's off and flying to third base.
That's great instincts and great hustle by Hanley. And now Gabby settles in. There's 1 out. And you got speed at the corners. We'll see how long Bonifacio is anchored at first. Throw to first. Hanley had thoughts of breaking home.
Hanley was a third of the way down the line.
And, of course, the Marlins pulled that play off with Maben and Ross earlier this year, where the guy at first intentionally draws the throw from the lefty, and as soon as he starts his move, the guy from third breaks home.
No need to do that with Gabby Sanchez at the plate, though.
Off the end of the bat.
You usually do that with a number 8 hitter, a weak hitter, maybe the pitcher. Something like that.
And a lot of times you do it with 2 outs.
But right now you have a chance, Gabby, if he can get a ball in the air, stay away from a double play.
Sanchez is 1 for 2. Got Hanley at third. Bonifacio at first. Uggla's on deck. Another move over. You know, the other thing you can do as well, Tommy, is Bonifacio can run on first motion, and Hanley can force the first baseman to make a decision. If he throws to second, Hanley could score.
And by sending Bonifacio, you hope to stay out of a double play, too.
The pitch is outside. Because Bonifacio is fast enough that if he left on first motion, if there was any hesitation by the first baseman, he steals second. Because the first baseman's going to have to look Hanley back at that point. This time Bonifacio's back. But Happ is obviously distracted at this point and very concerned.
Yeah, a lot of times when a pitcher gets distracted this much, he makes a mistake to the plate.
Factor in not a 37-minute delay, but for Happ, more like a 40 to 45-minute delay, because he didn't come right back out and pitch. And he's behind now, 2-1. You know, last night when Edwin had Bonifacio at short and gave Hanley the night off, he said he liked the energy that Bonifacio brings to the lineup. And he saw that last night, and he decided tonight to give Morrison the night off and put Bonifacio in there again tonight.
And I think he also likes Bonifacio a little better as a right-handed hitter than up there left-handed.
And Happ is obviously distracted here. He's gone 3-1 now, and I think a lot is to be said about getting a guy who is in a groove. He had retired 10 in a row. Get him working from the stretch.
Yeah, even though he takes warm-up pitches from the stretch, it's a different situation. And if he loses Gabby, then he has to deal with Dan Uggla, who's on deck.
Gabby is aboard, and here comes Uggla, and they are loaded.
So right now, it appears the rain delay has affected Jay Happ a little bit more than it affected Anibal Sanchez. Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach, Jeff Fulcino getting loose.
Jay Happ in this ballgame, it has not necessarily been overpowering. He's kept a lot of hitters off balance, and it's not the ground ball out, but a lot of fly balls and a lot of pop-ups. And the best example of that is how he's handled Dan Uggla tonight. Uggla twice has popped out to second.
Mainly he's made good pitches. They've been off-speed pitches, and he's had Dan out front and a little bit off balance. He's thrown 19 pitches so far this inning.
So Uggla has popped out twice. After getting Anibal Sanchez, Happ walked Hanley, infield single to Bonifacio, walked Gabby, and now Uggla settles in. Ball one. Hanley. Bonifacio with good speed at second. The Astros are not holding Gabby on at first. Two and 0.
Well, the Marlins have seen Mike Stanton hit a grand slam this year. They've seen Hanley Ramirez hit a grand slam.
Uggla deep, if it's fair. Oh, it's foul.
And they almost saw Dan Uggla hit a grand slam.
Looked like a changeup, and Uggla just pulled the trigger a little early.
2-0, though. That's a nice aggressive swing. It started fair and just started to hook, and it hooked foul.
Happ and his catcher, Jason Castro, not on the same page. His career with the bases loaded, 2 grand slams. One of those, a walk-off against the Phillies, against Tom Gordon. It's a pop-up towards the line. Hanley's tagging. Pence is running. It lands fair, and he runs by it. Here comes Hanley. Here comes Bonifacio. Uggla gets himself a 2-run single on a little flare down the right field line.
Right now, Jay Happ can't believe it. He made a good pitch. He made a real good pitch and tied up Dan Uggla. After hitting one about 400 feet foul for a foul home run, he gets jammed. Here comes the pitch. Like a good fastball in on him. Pence can't quite get there. And then he doesn't get a glove on it and overruns it. Hanley scores easily, but great base running by Bonifacio. Once he saw the ball drop for a base hit, he scored easily as well.
Now Mike Stanton. Breaking ball is inside. Stan has not looked comfortable again tonight. He was called out on strikes in the first. Popped to third back in the fourth. Gabby, and across the diamond, Uggla. And Happ misses up. Fulcino is ready to go in the Astros bullpen.
Any rhythm that Happ had, he doesn't have it here in this inning since the delay. Hey, that base hit also now a 12-game hitting streak for Dan Uggla, 20 for 44.
Well, this is the chance really to crack it open right here. Broken bat up the middle, might be two. Got one there. Just got Stanton at first. And Happ finishes the inning, but Uggla's blooper drives in two. Frostbrewed Coors Light Freeze can. The area in left field is particularly tricky after a football game, after those stands have been pulled out on there.
A lot of traffic over in that area.
Yeah, just ask Jeff Conine.
Yeah, not so much on the playing field, but more on the sidelines, stands.
Chopper to third. Luna has it. Hector sends it across, and Hunter Pence is out number one in the seventh inning. Anibal Sanchez was rolling around, got into the sixth, gave up a double to Jason Castro. When J. Happ tried to bunt him up, Gabby Sanchez made a great play, and then the rain came. Sanchez got Castro at third, and Anibal Sanchez had to sit down for a 37-minute rain delay. Came back out and was sharp. He struck out Michael Bourne. He's been able to get Sanchez and Pence to bounce out. Here's Lee, and he takes down low, and it looks like Anibal Sanchez has weathered the rain delay a lot better than J. Happ.
Yeah, absolutely. Happ threw 27 pitches that last inning. Good sharp crisp breaking ball. He just missed with the curveball. Sanchez, next pitch will be number 80. So the pitch count is in good shape, too.
You know, the Astros were able to unload some of their payroll for the next few years in the trade, sending Oswalt to Philly, Berkman to the Yankees. That fastball runs inside, and Lee is aboard. They will have trouble unloading Lee, who was signed through 2012 at $18.5 million a year.
He's a run producer. They say he's gotten almost a little extra step in his stride with the turnover of players. He feels good. He got off to that horrible start, and he's swinging the bat a lot better too. But Carlos Lee with 323 career home runs.
There's Chris Johnson. He doubled back in the second. And of course, he was thrown out on that Tommy Manzella single by Bonifacio. Not hit well. Uggla's out. Stanton's in. And Mike makes the catch.
Number 29,
Omen and Veras in the Marlins pen. Brett Wallace up now. And the left-handed hitting first baseman takes down low. Wallace, a guy that's always been able to hit.
Well, he was hitting in the Pacific Coast League in Las Vegas. It's a good hitter's park, though, isn't it?
That's a great place to hit. As long as you can stay out of the casinos and get in at a relatively
concentrate on baseball,
relatively decent hour, you can have a good series there in Las Vegas.
What's the altitude? So it gives you a little bit of.
Oh, it does. There is altitude in Las Vegas.
Not quite Denver-like, but
and it's warm there in the summer. A lot of games start with the temperatures right around 100 degrees at Cashman Field. 2-0 coming. Good changeup. One of the great minor league general managers in all of baseball, Don Logan, is the GM in Las Vegas.
This year, they've had a little bit of turnover this year. The Toronto Blue Jays have their AAA affiliate in Vegas.
When I worked there, they were the San Diego Padres AAA affiliate.
Dodgers were there.
2-2 coming. Another breaking ball, another strikeout. Sanchez is through 7, and right now he is shutting out the Astros. new park. Marlins now accepting deposits on 2012 season tickets in the Marlins' new ballpark. 1-877-411-2012, the number to call. Schedule your appointment at the new sales headquarters. I mean, just look at it. There's the shot from left field looking in. You can see the roof that goes over the stands on the first base line.
I think you and I, Rich, are going to be right in there somewhere. Right about there.
Yep.
We'll have a good angle.
And you can see the construction right up there of the roof
right up in here
that will actually slide on the tracks. And you see the tracks are fully constructed now. How cool is that?
Well, every time I see that, I just get excited.
Cody Ross, Hector Luna, and Brett Hayes against Jeff Fulcino, who throws a fastball to Cody. Cody's popped out, flied out. A look at Fulcino.
Yeah, a little different look from the right-hander. Fastballs and sliders and some splitters. He has had some struggles this year with that ERA at 5.5.
Spent some time on the disabled list with right elbow tendonitis since coming off the DL. 6 appearances and just 1 earned run. Jay Happ's night, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. Two walks and 6 strikeouts for Jay Happ. Changeup, popped him up. Hunter Pence has had a dozen of these balls tonight where he's had to come full tilt over towards the line.
Yeah, the one he'll remember, the one hit by Dan Uggla. I'm sure Jay Happ will remember it too. He made some good pitches in that inning. And that particular time, Dan Uggla came out on top with the bloop single that drove in 2.
Cody had a tough road trip. And in Pittsburgh, he was just 2 for 15. But in his last 2 ball games there, he didn't hit the ball hard. He had a double and a couple of line drive outs. Count 1-2. Busy night in baseball, as always, on a Friday night. The Phillies take a 1-0 lead into the 8th against Washington.
And why shouldn't they? They have Roy Halladay on the mound.
Ryan Madsen has just come in relief. The Mets are clobbering Pittsburgh tonight, 7-2, and that is in the bottom of the 8th inning. Padres beating Milwaukee 6-5 in the 4th up in Milwaukee. Adrian Gonzalez has hit his 24th. Casey McGee's hit his 20th.
Boy, he's been on a tremendous tear the last few weeks.
That one's down low. The Cardinals are trailing the Giants. That's a great series in St. Louis. A 3-1 San Francisco lead in the bottom of the 5th. Pedro Feliz, who was an Astro just a few days ago, is starting at 3rd and hitting 5th for the Cardinals. Three-two coming.
I was just thinking about the Brewers. We saw them so long ago, but the Marlins will play a 4-game series in Milwaukee. Second to the last week of the season.
Be interesting to see what type of shape the racing sausages are in late September.
Yeah, they start running out of gas at that time, or mustard, however you want to put it.
Three-two again. Broken bat, and it stays fair. Down the line, Cody into second with a double. a persistent at bat for Cody Ross.
Sure was. He fouled off some pitches. Even that time, he got jammed and broke his bat. But a little muscle to it. 24th double of the year. And well placed down that left field line. Take a little advantage with Carlos Lee out there. He doesn't get to balls quickly. He doesn't have the strongest of arms.
Hector Luna with nobody out. Let's see if he can move Cody up. Drives that ball to left center field. El Caballo on the run and a sliding catch by Carlos Lee.
See, he took offense to what I said.
That's as fast as I've seen El Caballo move in a long time.
They would have loved that catch in Houston. This ball hit well by Hector Luna. I thought it was going to drop. Hang time. El Caballo got there. Good landing. And good concentration. Nicely done.
The earth moved.
Was it Los Caballitos? Up in the left center field, kind of standing there.
Either that or El Caballo Nation.
El Caballo Nation, either way. They would have loved that.
They have the guys with the big handlebar mustaches.
You're talking about the at-bat of Cody's. That was a 9-pitch at-bat. As Brad Mills does a little pacing in that Astros dugout.
Speaking of mustaches,
where's Bill Hans? He's gone with the younger look this year.
He told me he put it in storage for the summer. There he is. That's the best mustache in baseball. That's Rex Jones, the trainer, one of the trainers of the Houston Astros.
That could be the best training staff mustache in baseball.
Ball in the dirt to Hayes. Boy, that catch by Lee is a big one because the Marlins obviously would have loved to have moved Ross to third and get him there with just one out. If Lee doesn't make the grab, Ross is going to score. Tim Burdack. You're right. Los Caballitos.
Yeah, the little horses.
In Houston. Always a favorite when Craig goes out and visits.
Yeah.
With those guys.
Well, the Pumas were great, too. Especially when Craig put the Puma costume on. For the big Puma, Lance Berkman, who no longer is there.
Ball and a strike to Hayes. I don't think the little Pumas have been spotted yet in Yankee Stadium. That pitch is low.
I think it's a little more expensive for them to get in. Well, big Puma's on the disabled list, too.
Cody with a leadoff double. Hayes at the plate with one out. And he goes after a breaking ball in the dirt. If Fulcino can get Hayes, Anibal Sanchez is on deck.
It looks like it's going to be Sanchez hitting. Anibal at just 88 pitches, and there's no activity right now in the bullpen.
Challenge for Hayes right now is react like a hitter that has been playing every day, and he really hasn't been playing every day. So he spent the first part of the game facing the lefty, and that didn't go well. He struck out twice. Now he's seeing a steady diet of breaking balls from Jeff Fulcino.
I think what Edwin will probably try to do is get enough playing time for both Brad Davis and Brett Hayes. And maybe if one gets hot, you stay with the hot hand for a while.
Fastball, Hayes hits it to left field. Lee is there, and he makes the catch. Not wearing a little Puma suit is Frank Ford. Hi, Frank.
But I used to have the big mustache. Without Anibal Sanchez going 7 scoreless so far tonight, guys, I want to point out a couple areas the Marlins have made improvements as a pitching staff. Coming into the game at 3.98 ERA, that's about 0.3 of a run lower than what they finished 2009. Last year, 12th in the National League in walks. This year, they've allowed the 4th fewest home runs allowed. Last year, they were 8th. This year, 2nd best as Sanchez fouls it off. Only Atlanta has allowed fewer home runs than the Marlins. So, guys, they are on pace as a team to allow 97 fewer walks and 34 fewer homers than they did in 2009. Those are 2 significant areas of improvement for the Marlins staff under Randy St. Clair, despite some of the bullpen problems we've seen this year. Rich?
Yeah, that's you're right. It's amazing because it certainly doesn't feel like that. I mean, the Marlins don't feel like a team with an ERA under 4, and this could be only the 3rd time in franchise history they do that, just because of the struggles from the pen and the meltdowns, and when you lead the majors in blown saves, that gives you a bad taste anyways. Sanchez, a line drive into right center field. That's going to get the run home. Cody scores. Sanchez with a hit.
Anibal Sanchez with his first RBI of the season, and for him it snaps an 0 for 22. Got started with Cody's double. The guy clears his hips out of there, just strokes it into right field, and a big run. I wanted to continue on that. That's a great number for the Marlins, the numbers that Frank brought up as far as the pitching. The home runs allowed, a lot of credit, as he said to Randy St. Clair. Remember last year, Leo Nunez allowed 13 home runs. The one he gave up last night in Pittsburgh was just number 2 on the year. The one to Andrew McCutchen last night.
The starters have been solid. A couple have been spectacular. Josh Johnson, Ricky Nolasco. Sanchez, his numbers are very good as he scampers down to second base on a wild pitch. So he's in scoring position now with Hanley at the plate. And the count 1-1. Been a tough night behind the plate for Jason Castro.
Yeah, I think you can look at Josh Johnson, Ricky Nolasco, and Anibal Sanchez as a top 3, and they've been very, very consistent. They've been able to stay healthy, which is always important.
Tino looks like he didn't want much to do with Hanley. He buries that one in the dirt. Brad Mills, first-year manager. Al Pedrique, his bench coach. Hanley lets a fastball get by him.
Brad Mills, a longtime coach for Terry Francona. They've been great friends. They were college teammates. And we were talking to Brad. He said he usually hears from Francona or he will text Terry. And he said a couple times a week they speak, so they stay in touch a lot.
Hanley fouls that 2-2 pitch back. phone down to the bullpen. Hanley up the middle into center field, base hit. Here comes Sanchez up with the ball born. Here's the throw. He will score. Hanley gets to second. 5-0 now. 2 hits for Hanley. And a hero's welcome for Sanchez.
Yeah, after all that running, the hitting, the scoring, Edwin might be thinking, are you sure you're going to be okay to go out there for the 8th? It looks like Sanchez saying, yeah, I feel okay. I'm in good shape. He's gotten himself in great shape this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's lost 25, 30 pounds from last year. And for a guy that's not even 6 feet tall, that's a lot of weight to drop. And it has really shown. Look, Mike Kozak has got the towel ready. And Kozak is waiting for the green light to put the towel on his head. That's the sign that a guy's still in there. When the towel goes on his head, that means he's coming back out to pitch. Kozak has the towel ready.
He's ready.
He just needs the green light from Edwin. Towel or no towel. Edwin's making his case. Sanchez doesn't want to come out.
I like that.
And Kozak still has the towel ready. There are 2 outs, and Edwin says, hey, look, we got to come to an agreement here. And look at Sanchez doesn't want to come out. Now, factoring into this, if you've just tuned in and you're saying, oh, let him pitch, it's the 7th inning, his pitch count is low. There was a 37-minute rain delay in the middle of his start. So he had to throw a lot of pitches to warm back up again. So I don't think that pitch count is really accurate of his work.
This is a little different one tonight. And certainly I think it's understandable if he doesn't go back out there, but it looks like Mike Kozak, assistant athletic trainer, getting Anibal Sanchez ready to go back out there. You don't do that if you're out of the game.
Yeah, no one's come over and hugged him yet. That's another telltale sign you're coming out. See, there are some nights, long rain delays, 4-hour games, where we secretly hope someone will come in the booth and hug us, and we could go home.
We need to get Mike Kozak and Sean Cunningham on speed dial. get them up here with the towel.
Now, Edwin may be saying that he's going to continue this conversation. He may be saying, look, I may let you go out there, but there may be some ground rules for you going back out there.
Yeah, we're learning more about the RBI that Anibal Sanchez picked up. We told you it was his first this year. This is his first RBI since September of '06 against the Mets. So he's been in a little bit of an RBI slump. So it's good to see him break out of it. And it's good to see his stubbornness in wanting to stay in the game.
Bonifacio into center field. Here comes Hanley. He's going to score. And the Marlins are walking all over the Astros tonight. 6-0. And you know what? That energy that Edwin wanted with Bonifacio in there, he has delivered it.
A sac fly, an infield base hit, a run scored, an RBI single, and a great play in left field. Emilio Bonifacio has had himself a nice night.
Brad Mills is on his way out, and he is going to come get Jeff Fulcino. 6-0. Marlins on top. Bottom of the 7th. Here's a Marooney. Call to the pen.
You need a car, truck, or van. Who are you going to call?
Astros. That may do it for Sanchez. A 6-0 lead.
And a little activity in the bullpen, too, as we speak. Getting double attention, Sean Cunningham that time. But I think that's probably going to be all. Tim Burdack comes in to try to bail Fulcino out. The Marlins 4 runs, four hits and 2 runs off Jeff Fulcino.
Here's Gabby now. Gabby 1 for 2 with a walk. He pulls that one down the left field line. Look at Bonifacio racing around second. He's headed to third.
He's going to score.
Down the stretch he comes. And he's going to score. That's fun to watch. $7-0.
And double number 30 for Gabby Sanchez. Talked about left fielders, and Carlos Lee made a fine play, but couldn't quite get to this one. He was trying to cut it off. If he cuts it off, Bonifacio might not score. With Boney watching him, I love that. I love that. Some guys run out of gas. He gets faster when he gets to third.
Here's Ugla now. Dan has popped the ball up 3 times. Twice it ended up in the glove of Angel Sanchez, the second baseman. The other time it ended up just inside the right field line for a 2-run single.
Nice night for Gabby Sanchez. 2 for 3, a walk, an RBI. Just trying to remind all those riders who vote for the Rookie of the Year.
Will Oman. A lot of baseball to be played. About a month and a half of games left. And so a lot can happen with
over 40. Each team over 40 games to go.
That Rookie of the Year chase, or all the postseason awards for that matter.
Who would be your MVP right now?
Joey Votto. Last I checked, he was leading in slugging, on base percentage, challenging in the Triple Crown categories. Gabby takes a base.
Been a rough night for Jason Castro, the young catcher behind the plate.
That's another wild pitch. Who's your MVP?
I think I'm with you on Votto. I don't think there's anybody else that really stands out. The Braves, don't have that real standout guy. You want to say Martin Prado's been their MVP, but he's even missed a little time this year.
Ugla, a high fly ball. Bourne is under it, and he makes the catch. But the Marlins tack on 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Big night for Bonifacio.
inning to put the Marlins ahead. How about the bullet to the plate? A great put out, a great throw by Bonifacio. He wasn't done yet. He wanted to contribute a little bit more. How about an infield base hit? How about another base hit to drive in a run? That put him at first base. And then we love watching Bonifacio run. Second base. He turns it on. Another gear at third and came in to score. It's been a great night for Emilio Bonifacio.
Will Ullman comes in the ball game, and so it's official. Anibal Sanchez goes 7 innings with a 37-minute rain delay in the middle of it. 3 hits and does not give up a run. And Sanchez walked 1 and struck out 5. So Sanchez now, in 3 of his last 5 starts, has not allowed a run. The 1-hitter at San Francisco, the win at Washington. He gave up 2 runs in Cincinnati against a hot team in a good hitter's park and ended up losing that game.
I gave you another good one. If you go back his last 22 starts.
Cody in center makes a catch.
Last 22 starts now for Anibal Sanchez. If he picks up the win here, he will have gone 10-7 and have an ERA, about 2.8, in the low 2.9s, high 2.8s, somewhere in that area.
His ERA now is at 3.16 on the season, and that's close to the top 10 in the National League for starters. Guys with enough innings. Here is Jason Castro, and he takes a strike. Ullman getting some work.
Yeah, the one thing we've seen about our opportunities to watch Will Ullman, a professional, likes to go out there, throw strikes, likes to have a little fun.
Very talkative guy. I think any guy who is a lefty specialist, and most of those guys have been around because they're in such demand. If they're with a team that falls out of contention, they invariably get traded somewhere
to a team that's in contention
and that needs one.
Tell you what, all of a sudden, Roy Halladay sneaking closer to that ERA lead. His 7 shutout innings tonight give him an ERA at 2.16.
Strike 3. Ullman dispatches with Castro. Brings up the pitcher spot. And Jason Bourgeois is coming up. Our Geico quote of the day. Jeff Bagwell talking about working with the hitters. This is what I know. I know baseball. Hopefully we're going to find out in a couple of months that I know hitting.
Well, we know that he knew hitting as a player. And the key is he wants to find out if he can translate that into teaching.
Bourgeois takes down low.
Guy who can play all the outfield spots. Having a terrific year before his call up in AAA. 345 at 18 stolen bases.
Was claimed off waivers from the Brewers in the offseason. Grew up in Houston. Stanton with a nice catch. And a nice inning for Will Ullman. 7-0 Fish. looks like that in the box score tomorrow. It turned into a 2-run single for Uggla. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast, our Mass Mutual in-game box score, presented by Mass Mutual. Emilio Bonifacio in the lineup, and Bonifacio hitting behind Hanley Ramirez, 2 hits. Hanley's got a couple hits. Look at Gabby has chipped in. Cody Ross has doubled. Hector Luna has his first hit as a Marlin.
When it's all said and done, and the Marlins have a good chance to hang on and win this one, it's going to be a nice win as a team because of the guys who've contributed. Fernando Abad, the left-hander, just recalled yesterday from AAA Round Rock. I'm looking at just because I probably wouldn't have thought about this, Rich, but just the fact that we came from Pittsburgh and saw the Pirates for 4 games.
Mike Stanton. That ball may be flat on one side, and it's foul.
You kind of look at these two teams and make comparisons. 2 young teams, the Pirates and the Astros.
Yeah, the youngsters that you've seen for both Pittsburgh, and obviously we saw them for 4 games, and we've just seen the Astros here tonight. Both in a rebuilding mode. The Astros haven't really been in that type of mode for a long time. And remember, this is finally in trading Berkman and trading Oswalt, I think the Astros are finally saying, you know what, the team that went to the World Series in 2005 doesn't have a chance to get there. They need to start all over again. The Pirates have been in that mode seemingly for 15, 16 years.
Okay, yeah.
Stanton swings and misses. Like an 0 for 4. 1 out here in the 8th. Family Sunday finishes our weekend, and we hope you're coming out. 1:10 start, Marlins and Astros. It's Billy the Marlin's birthday, and the first 5,000 kids get a Billy lunch cooler courtesy of Waste Management. And kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash. 1-877-Marlins. Now, I don't know if that is one of the Flying Luchadores or a pair of Luchadores. Is there 2, 3? How many down there?
Or could they be imposters?
Or they could be scouting for potential Luchadores. Or they could be headed to a party after the game. Ross waited on that breaking ball and hits it deep to left field. That ball gone. Cody Ross got one. A double and a homer in his last 2 at-bats. Good to see with Cody.
I know you and I talked about it in Pittsburgh. You could really see the last 2 or 3 games his swing starting to come back. And got a little wink from him today in the clubhouse because he knew it too. We came into the game with some confidence. And back-to-back at-bats, a double and a home run. Good swings, and good for Cody.
Hector Luna. Ain't nothing. I think for the Marlins, too, going into tomorrow night, they've got to feel good about facing another lefty. Because if this score holds, and you expect it to, Hector Luna runs into one. That ball's deep. That ball is off the top of the wall and gone. Look at the smile from Edwin. Hector Luna, a guy that has had to work his way back to the big leagues, hits one out. He got a spot start, a rare start tonight.
Hey, Hector Luna, Rich, in AAA, and hit most of these while he was playing for Edwin, was hitting .294 with 16 home runs. So he has some power, and that's why Edwin had that nice smile. Yeah, he liked it. He liked it, and so did Hector Luna.
For Hector Luna, it's his first homer in the big leagues since 2007. when he was with the Toronto Blue Jays. He played in 22 games that year in 07. Appeared in just 2 games with the Blue Jays in 08. Brett Hayes. And it's foul. Abad has been hit hard here. Brian Sanchez in the bullpen. Breaking ball, line into center. Bourne, great speed out there. And he makes the catch. Wes Helms coming up. Back-to-back solo shots by Cody and Luna. Hayes with a loud out. Here's Helms. The Marlins win this ball game, Tommy, and it looks like they're going to. They would be 24-12 against lefties. Helms hits one in the air, shallow left center. Manzella's calling, and he makes the catch. Inning over, but early fireworks before the game's over. A couple of big shots for you. Cody Ross. Hector Luna. 9-0. Tonight's in-game box score for the Astros, presented by Mass Mutual. Not a lot of action. The pride of Naples, Chris Johnson, with a double. Tommy Manzella with a base hit. And then you've got Jason Castro with a double, and that's it. The Marlins, 7 shutout innings from Anibal Sanchez. Will Ullman worked a perfect 8th, and Brian Sanchez is in to try to finish this game and finish the shutout.
They're the long ball hitters last inning. Back-to-back home runs. Marlins' 3rd time this year that they've had back-to-back home runs. Cody Ross, Hector Luna.
Michael Bourne pulls one foul. Bourne. An 0 for 3 night. Twice he's bounced to Ugla. Last year, we were talking about his big year in which he really improved. In 2008, he hit 229. His on-base percentage was 288. That jumped to 285 with an on-base jump of 354. That was the biggest jump in the majors from 08 to 09.
That's what they needed, too, because he has such a great speed, 61 stolen bases last year. You know, you look at some of the deals the Astros have made, because their general manager at one time was the GM of the Phillies. Bourne was involved in the Brad Lidge trade, and of course Jay Happ involved in the Roy Oswalt deal.
Ed Wade knows those Phillies. Brett
Myers over here.
1-2 coming. There's a ground ball to Ugla. Unfortunately for Bourne, he has slid back down close to his 2008 totals. He's hitting about 245, and his on-base percentage is down below 320. Here's Angel Sanchez. Sanchez is lined out, and he's bounced out twice.
Now the Marlins trying to make it 4 straight, trying to go a game over 500.
Angel Sanchez is out of Puerto Rico. Players out of Puerto Rico cannot sign as free agents.
They're subject to the draft.
Yeah, and at the age of 15, Sanchez was drafted by the Marlins in 1999. 12th round. He did not sign. And he went around. The Royals then drafted him in 2001, 2 years later, in the 11th round. So he waited 2 years and he moved up a round. Got to the big leagues with the Royals in 06. Fastball up and in. Blue Jays claimed him off waivers. Red Sox signed him as a minor league free agent. He's one of those rare position players that has had Tommy John surgery. He missed all of 2007. Ugla calling for it. And Sanchez has a couple outs here in the 9th inning.
If Brian Sanchez can nail down one more out, the Marlins, as a staff, will record their 13th shutout of the season.
The team with the most shutouts in the National League, the Mets. The Mets have 18 shutouts.
Yeah, they got a well-pitched game. It looks like he's back on track, and the Marlins will probably see him next week. They got a well-pitched game from Mike Pelfrey tonight.
Breaking ball on Hunter Pence, swings and misses. Yeah, the Mets beat Pittsburgh 7-2. Pelfrey is 12-7. The Phillies, as Tommy pointed out, got another great night from Roy Halladay. Lidge the save, Madsen the hold. 1-0. They shut out Washington. So the Phillies win. Another improbable Atlanta win today as they scored 3 times in the 9th off of Carlos Marmol, sending Tommy into a rage. And Peter Moylan got the win. Omar Infante homered for Atlanta. Good sharp breaker by Sanchez. Chance for some guys to get a little bit of work. Marlins were able to stay away from Clay Hensley and Leo Nunez. That was the hope.
Boy, the offense came alive. There was some excitement tonight. Not a game you like to see when you return home, albeit a short homestand.
1-2 coming. Hunter Pence was on that breaking ball, and he fouls it off.
And also nice to see after the way the Marlins played those last 3 games in Pittsburgh, taking care of the Pirates 3 straight. after losing the first game of the series.
Well, Edwin talked about energy and how in Cincinnati he felt his club lacked energy. Got him with a fastball. A combined shutout. The Luchadores love it. And the Marlins win this ball game 9-0. Emilio Bonifacio making a start in left field, giving Logan Morrison the night off. And Bonifacio has a nice night tonight. A lot of guys contributing to this one. Anibal Sanchez, first and foremost. We'll wrap it up after this.